everybody. Welcome back to the Divergent Comics podcast. Today, we are back doing indie comic creator interviews. So, for those of you who were upset that I did like two or three author interviews back to back, we're back to regularly scheduled programming. Today, I have I have Don on here. Um, I've met so many people over like the last 6 months or so, just trying to get these things scheduled. So I completely forgive me if I forget where I meet these people. Some people I meet through Facebook groups, in quite a few indie comic creator groups. Then quite a few people signed up through Threads. Sometimes some people sign up from Instagram. It's all over the place. But Don is someone I met on social media. We'll just use a blanket term. And we've been kind of chatting here and there, in preparation of this interview. So I got to get to know him just a little bit. But Don, how are you doing?
I'm okay. Just got back from a show and it's Mother's Day. So I'm the kind of tired that gets you like good answers, but the kind of answers that I might regret later. So this will be good, I hope.
Hopefully you don't regret it too much.
But the professional veneer has been worn down. There you go. That's the good way of saying it.
That's fair. I feel you on that. So, Don, first off, nice to finally meet you. I got to read your story, and I have some questions because it was definitely a different type of story than I anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
So just to kind of go over things in detail a little bit, when I put out the feelers for people to apply to be on the podcast, you filled out the information and you put your publisher name as Revenge Audit.
Yeah.
Can you kind of tell me a little bit about like where that name came from and how did you kind of just land on that?
I knew I wanted to do my own thing after I worked with the publisher, and I realized I needed a name that I wanted a name that would make you raise your eyebrow. So Vengeance being in there was kind of a prerogative because I love Metal Gear Solid Revengeance, and you kind of just need a pairing for that, which doesn't make sense. Like, how on earth would you mathematically, like, what is there to audit in a revenge? I have no idea, but it sounds cool. It sounds really cool.
No, it does sound cool. And then like I think I've seen your stuff online, and like your logo seems pretty cool too. So I think that's like a part of it. Like the logo with the name just kind of mixes all together and it kind of draws the attention.
Thank you. Are you familiar with Dan Hibiki's ad in like one of the earlier Street Fighters?
So I played Street Fighter when I was like 7 years old. Haven't played it since. So.
Respect. Don't even worry about it. I asked just so I could. So there's this guy, this Shoto in the pink gi, like one of the Ryu types. He's Dan. His gimmick is that he's like terrible and he's a ripoff of like another character from another game. And he wins one of the tournaments and he advertises his victory, right? It says, "Hey, come to my dojo," right? But he forgets to leave his phone number in the ad. So he spent all that money to do that. So I don't feel exactly that way about my logo and kind of like my kind of vibe right now, but I feel like there is a lot to it that I could kind of hone and refine and like could be like, this is what it's about.
That makes sense.
But there is the thing I like about that analogy is that Dan got people's attention. So it's just a matter of like maximizing that in terms of the branded stuff. But anyway.
No, yeah, that makes sense. I like that. I think everyone has to have like their thing, their gimmick, the thing that kind of like gets people interested. And I think that would be yours for sure.
Yes.
So,
but I digress. Yes.
Question for you then. I mean, I guess just so we can get to know you a little bit better, like, what inspired you to want to write comics?
So I'd read comics for a really long time. I didn't know they didn't have to be Spider-Man or Batman for a while. I found Usagi Yojimbo and like I found a comic version of 1984.
Oh,
like when I was mad young. Like I got to it before it was required reading,
interesting.
and I don't think it messed me up, but like it kind of got me thinking, okay, comics don't have to look like this. That's cool. And then in school, I was late there one day. One kid had a copy of Scott Pilgrim #1.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I grabbed that and I'm like, oh, that's
life
cool.
changing.
Yeah, no, literally.
It's life changing.
Nah, it hit me at just the right time too. I hadn't seen the movie yet, but like it was right in that period where like your tastes get locked in.
Yeah.
And then that got in there. So yeah.
That's actually awesome. So I've done these interviews for about almost 3 years now. And every time I bring someone on who is either a writer or an artist, they give some variation of their journey into making comics, whether it's I've been doing this, or I've been in comics since I was a toddler, or you have someone who's like, yeah, I just started reading comics 7 years ago and like decided, why not I make my own? And it's like, that's one of the things I love the most about this like industry in general. You have so many varied experiences, so many varied perspectives, and you get to see people approach storytelling from so many different walks of life in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And something that inspires one person could be something that turns someone else off, but then something else could inspire them to go that route as well. So I love the fact that, something as simple as just Scott Pilgrim #1, that's great.
It's good.
Are there any specific type of genres that you like to read in comics, and do they correlate to what you like to watch in TV and movies?
Not particularly, and I want to apologize for sounding weird for no reason, but whatever it is I'm reading, whatever genre it is, wherever it's from, it needs to have it, and I cannot tell you what it is, right? It's just, it needs to have some kind of like aesthetic thing, some kind of narrative thing to where like I'm in, like hang on, what is this? I've got Yakuza Lover on my shelf right next to Berserk and like Octopus, right?
Oh.
So like my tastes are very eclectic, and there needs to be something going on to kind of like just, okay, cool, you got a cool cover. Ooh, I like the way that name sounds. Like just I need a worm, I need something. So it's less about genre and more about, can you get my attention, because I need keys jangled in front of me.
So you're the reader that's like, all right, you give me a carrot on a stick and I will chase it, and then it'll lead you down a rabbit hole.
Exactly. And if there's like nothing but like, if there's spikes at the end of this rabbit hole, I will be very upset, and then I will fight my way through the spikes and get to the carrot that you tried to stop from me. Right?
I love that.
So, I think so. I didn't I like that analogy. So and that this extends outward. My taste in movies is kind of eclectic. My taste in music is kind of eclectic. It's like I got country right next to I got country right next to like rap and like 80s disco and stuff like that. Like
nice.
There's good stories and good music coming out all of the time. It's just a matter of kind of what you care to listen to. Yeah.
I agree with you on that. I wouldn't say I'm eclectic to that degree, because there are certain things I just won't read or watch, and I won't listen to. But I like the fact that you like to take in so many different forms of media. And I think that kind of spoke through the story that we're going to be talking about in a little bit, Supermassive Hover Biome.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it was just kind of a little bit of a mix of a lot of different genres, but it was done in a way where it felt... Have you ever watched American Horror Stories?
No, I need to.
So I watched a little bit of it, of like season 1, and then I watched a little bit of the original American Horror Story. Really interesting, both very different, but also very similar. But the way that the series was put together, where each episode is its own story, I felt like that's kind of what you were going with your story with Supermassive Hover Biome. And that kind of is what kind of made me want to read more and continue to go through it, because it felt like an anthology, but it was about these main characters. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because we're going to let you talk about it a little bit. But I just wanted to mention that because it makes sense why you are someone who would be eclectic when it comes to reading comics or watching TV and movies.
Yeah. Do I just yap now, or was there a more pointed question about
No, if you want to yap, go ahead.
Jeez. Cool. Supermassive Hover Biome started out as a spite project. I was set up to work on a project with somebody else, and they like kind of ghosted me. And like, I won't pretend I'm the most well-adjusted individual on the planet, but like, I don't know what happened, right? And I still don't. So I was very frustrated with kind of like just the inability to connect what I did with the result I got.
Makes sense.
That just kind of made me want to make something like that represented that. And it just happened to be like three people on a floating city, like playing Magic angrily. So
yeah,
like that's the main impetus, and kind of it was I would always see these friendships in high school of like people that like clearly like they had no reason to be around each other, and it was kind of just like inertia holding them together.
Yeah.
And like the inertia wouldn't look like inertia because there would be care in the relationship.
It's like they genuinely like each other, but they don't fit together at all.
They don't. And to be clear, the like is not boundless. There's clearly like boundaries here, and like the fact that they've kind of been keeping it together in that bubble for so long is something that should be actively studied. So I wanted to do something like that too. Yeah,
I like that. I like the fact that the name kind of gives off like an anime type of feel. It is very anime coded, you know, with it being how long it is. Not in a bad way. It's just like, it's like, oh, this feels like an anime type of thing, which I like that about it. But you mentioned that at the very end of the story, you have your whole breakdown of why you wrote the story, and then you have your breakdown of each of the characters. When you were like making the story and you finally finished everything, was that the intent to put like all that information at the end, or was it just something that you kind of was like, hey, I think people will have some questions, why not just toss this in here?
It was there is a lot that I don't talk about over the course of the comic because it doesn't matter to the events that I'm showing, you know. And there's some stuff that I kind of wanted people to know because they would appreciate it. Like, okay, cool, here's what Morgan's here for, here's what Dora generally does. And I wonder how well this comes off, but like they're living in kind of a hellscape, you know? And like this only gets so much attention, so I wanted to kind of fill in some of those gaps, but like leave enough room to where if you're paying attention, you'll hopefully have more questions, which I specifically don't answer. So
yeah, yes. I definitely have more questions that I want to see answered. But one of the things that I will say that I think you did really well, and it takes a lot to really. Well, I'm not going to say that because that's not true. But
no, I'm curious. Come on.
I was going to say, like, it takes a lot to make me laugh really hard at a comic. But there were some interactions in this book between Bit and between Morg, and I was just like, you know what? That was absolutely hilarious. There was one specific part when, like, towards the middle, I think maybe in the middle or towards the end of the story, when they were jumping Bit about not having a boyfriend.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what is this? And then she started talking about Discord. And I was just like, yo, this is absolutely hilarious. That was probably the funniest part of the entire story. No, I take that back. That was the second funniest part, because the other part that I really absolutely love was the mall law. That part was great.
Yeah.
Mall law was great. You have to talk about that. Like, where did that come from?
I thought it'd be really funny if like there was just a sovereign city-state that happened to be a mall in this place, and the mall cops were like effectively like state agents there. So if you break, and like I also love the idea of like you wouldn't know that unless you got stuck in there and they would actively stop you from talking about it. I'm into like conspiracy theories in the sense of the hysteria they create and like kind of what the connotations of them being true would mean. In this case, yeah, this entire mall is run by like a bunch of weirdos that are actively recruiting people to work there by virtue of the laws they break, just so they can get more cheap labor. That's it. You know,
that actually makes sense. I love that.
Yeah. So
no, the fact that what did she say? She said, if you sell, what was it, 1,000 burgers in so many hours, or whatever, you get
a T-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just like that is absolutely hilarious.
Like, hi, you're a slave now. Here's some corporate incentives. Good job. Yeah. No, I also really wanted to make kind of Bird complicit in something god awful because I love the concept of a comfort character and then giving them something really deeply problematic that you need to deal with because you have to reconcile what your values are. A lot of people will tell me that Bird is their favorite character, and then I can tell when, like, what chapters they've read of Supermassive by virtue of whether or not like Bird is their favorite character and whether or not there's a but after they do that. Like, yeah, no, she got a 16-year-old into indentured servitude. That happened. That's canon.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love Bird. I think she's great, but Morg is my favorite. I think she's probably the best character in the entire story.
I'm so sorry. Morg is such a terrible person.
That's why I love her. She's so toxic, and but I think the thing that I love the most is how we're introduced to Morg. We start out, and the very first thing we see is her trying to tell a joke, and they're just like, "Yeah, that's not funny." And she was like, "Bird laughed." Bird's like, "No, I didn't laugh. That wasn't funny." And it's just like, that is how we're introduced to this character. And then she's breaking down why the joke that they tell is not even funny. And to be fair, I agree with Morg. That joke was not funny. But no, I love Morg. I think she's great. And then the other character, ABCD.
So nickname's Bird, but it's Absurdity. That's how you say that officially. Yeah, I didn't know that either. I don't know if you read the most recent chapter, like her parents show up. So like the whole point is that they're a bunch of weird, she comes from a long line of rich weirdos. So that kind of informs her general dysregulation.
Interesting. Yeah. I need to catch up because I'm definitely behind. So
you're a little behind by one. Like we're not quite back up to monthly yet because of stuff, but like
makes sense.
Chapter 11's out though. It's out everywhere, so it's free.
Awesome.
Look at it at plug links. I sent them. Go on. But yeah.
So getting off track because like I said, the story was so funny. It was hilarious. But at the end of the book, you mentioned that there was inspiration from Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, yeah.
So I want you to talk about that, but I also want to mention that what I read felt very much like a Cartoon Network type of series. So it wasn't until I got to that point where I was like, oh, I see the Powerpuff Girls connection. Because for me, it was because of the art style and because of how the stories progressed. It felt more like a Total Drama Island meets like a Codename Kids Next Door type story. That's what I was getting.
Yeah.
So can you kind of talk about the inspiration from Powerpuff Girls that you had for this and like where that went as you were writing the story?
Yeah. So Powerpuff Girls, like you kind of, when I think trio, I think Powerpuff Girls, like kind of like these people that are stuck together. In this case, it's like by genetic, like what do you call it? They're literally test tube babies, right? So like they're a family. They're made together. The idea of people with clashing personalities that are together is always interesting to me. So that kind of serving as the basis for a lot of their interactions and a lot of the individual story bits was really important to me, and that's kind of where Powerpuff Girls came in from. And you get, of course, the aesthetic was a big deal. Like I think we just have Professor Utonium's house in there at one point because like it's just a square with circles in it. I think no, I'm looking at it right now. Like Emil just changed the orientation so we can't get sued.
Nice, that's smart.
Yeah, Emil's great. I have yet to see somebody like see the art and be like, that's not cool. So that was a big thing from the get-go. I've been wanting to work with this person for a long time because just the way their stuff looked. And when I was kind of in my dumps about the other project, I'm like, oh, hold on, this person's around, I'm around. We'll channel this energy. Yeah.
You know, just to let all the people who are watching and listening know, Don cannot see my screen, so he did not know that I was about to ask a question about the art, right? But that art style is completely different. It's a very futuristic type of art style, which you mentioned at the end of the book also was like kind of something that you wanted to touch on a little bit based off of, you know, how the Powerpuff Girls art was done. So like, what was it that really spoke to you about Emil's art specifically that made you be like, yep, that's what I need for this story?
I want to apologize again. It's just, they got it, man. Like I can't like, so outside of early like 2000s Cartoon Network, I don't see anybody moving like they are.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Like it's just like it just looks great, and they work fast, and they were very nice and very professional. They were actively asking me about little decisions and how the characters looked and stuff like that. But yeah, one of my favorite collaborations in general, by virtue of the end product and the process being so filled with care. Right.
I love that.
Yeah, no. So like he was down with Powerpuff Girls, and like, I was like actively thinking about it kind of while we were doing this too. It's just, yeah, he cares a lot, and it shows in a lot of the work he does. And I cannot sing his praises loudly enough. I actually met somebody who collabed with Emil on a variant cover, and we were at the same show.
Oh wow!
Like, we recognize
the Spider-Man meme.
Literally, like, hey, we know the same guy. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, he's cool. His work is good. He's got it. He's got the stuff.
Yeah.
Gotta get a giant cigar for when I say that in the future. Go on though. He's got it. He's got the stuff.
That would be perfect. You got to do that.
I think so. One big thing. I'm not an artist myself, but there were specific kind of whenever I could do a story, I want to have the aesthetic be at odds with what is happening when it's appropriate. I think I don't know if you've seen Kaiba ever.
I have not. No.
Okay, it's this insane. It is effectively one of the most dark and horrifying cyberpunks out there. It looks adorable.
Oh.
It literally, like, yeah, no, like, Cyberpunk 2077 can be a tearjerker at some point, but, like, it never got me anywhere close to where Kaiba did. Because, like, just what about the human experience is for sale is just gone. It's hit straight up, and it doesn't hit you as hard because of the aesthetic they picked. It's not even funny. It's diabolical because of this decision. And to that point, a lot of people, despite what I say, miss kind of how god awful it is to live where they are, you know, especially for the less money you have. Morg is the poorest of the three people, and she has it the worst, not just because of being a terrible person, but because of kind of what she's attached to, you know. Like literally, like, her husband can't leave their house.
Yeah, he mentions that. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm like literally tethered to this house. And she's like, well, we don't have to leave.
Exactly. Right. So you gotta make do. You gotta do what you gotta do. But like, just the whole concept of that whole thing was something I wanted to kind of do. And people miss it all the time. And it's really funny to me.
Yeah, no, that was a very funny moment.
Yeah.
And I didn't even catch that in regards to like that being an aspect of the state that they're living in.
Yeah.
So that's actually very clever on your part to do something as subtle as that. Whereas like, yeah, your socioeconomic status is all tied into the story somehow, but we're not going to straight up tell you how that is.
Yeah. until I tell you, in which case,
Yeah.
it should. Oh, I think the lore should always show up when it's funny and when it hurts. I think when it shows up and it's not either of those things, we kind of get annoyed that we're getting info dumped out. You know,
I agree.
One bit of criticism I got about early on in Supermassive is that I didn't really kind of talk about who they were as people a whole lot, and I understand kind of that general critique, but there are moments in time where I think you should kind of tell somebody what something is, and I think tell don't show as a rule I think is stupid, but like I think it's a really good guideline for particular stories. I'm really happy with the way we started it because I think the visual, the first page, kind of just like the 15 panels. Yeah. I think that's going to do a better job of kind of talking about who they are as people and or like what a version of them looks like separated. It is going to do that better than kind of anything I could say about it. You know?
Yeah, no, I actually agree with you. I don't like that criticism just because I feel like the way that the stories progress, we get to see who they are in moments. We get to get an understanding of their character rather than you saying, hey, Morg is like this. Bird is like this. It's like, like, yeah, that'll be cool to see, or I guess that'll be easier to see. Yeah. But it's like you showing us different moments and different scenes and from their lives makes it, I think, more impactful.
I try. And to be very clear, like everyone has their own experience when it comes to every work. There are people that hate Scott Pilgrim, happen to love it. There are people that like want stuff to be told to them. Other people want stuff to be relayed to them in a subtle way. And I think when we are descriptive as opposed to prescriptive, when it comes to the things that we like and dislike in the media that we get into, we're gonna have an easier time having a conversation about it. Because like as important as it is to have like heady discussions about the stuff we're reading, I think a lot of people are really caught up in being right when it comes to talking about the media that they care about or media that they think is helpful or harmful, that they either leave out or just don't want to. They don't get into how they feel about it. They're trying to justify how they feel with like facts and logic. Which, like, no, you can just not like something. You can feel grossed out by the Knives Chow Scott Pilgrim situation. That's valid. You really don't gotta go much deeper than that. I'm not saying you can't or that you shouldn't, but like that's fine. Like I feel like
everyone. I feel like, I completely agree with you. I feel like what happens too often is people want other people to validate why they feel the way that they feel, and that's the problem I have.
And we're social animals, right? A lot of us are, anyway. Like we want to be seen, and I disrespect this desire that is put in my head by the chemicals that we got. But like it's a natural thing to want to be validated, to want to be seen, to want to be understood, to want to be agreed with, and that feeling is not the problem. It's what you do with that afterwards. I would love if everybody on the planet loved Supermassive, but I know people aren't because of a lot of decisions I made. I joked about suicide on the first page, right? Like, like there are people where that's a no-go, and they're not less of a person because of that. I made decisions. I'm on the hook for the decisions I made, and I'm on the hook for the way I made people feel, right?
I mean, that was a really good joke, though.
Thank you. I think so too. That's why I made it. But like, so we are on the hook for how we react. That's kind of it. If you're like, hey, I wish I knew more, that's fine. I understand that. You explained to me why I wanted to do something different in this instance. That's kind of it. But yeah, no, it's fine. Say how you feel, and then we can kind of talk it out. You know, it doesn't have to be I'm right because I don't know. I won't forever on this whole thing. The discourse is toxic. Just talk to your friends. Don't go on Twitter. Get a good friend group. Get people that are like that have like get every corner of the compass that you trust to talk to about stuff, and then you're good. We don't need the entire internet at our fingertips. Go on.
I agree with you on that. So as we've been talking, I just realized, and this again wasn't something I was too privy to, but I just realized Supermassive is a webcomic that you've been making that is released in chapters.
Yes.
So how many more chapters do you have planned for Supermassive, or do you just plan on it going in perpetuity?
I do have an ending in mind.
Okay.
I have at least another 10 plans. I'm toying around with the idea of a longer form story, either in between chapters or after volume 2 is done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to go on too long because you never want to outstay your welcome, right?
That's true.
And I only have so many stories I want to tell here in this particular kind of world, you know? So, yeah, I start a lot of longer term projects, so I definitely want to try to put a handle on some of these. So I might stop at 2 and not do the long form thing. I might chop up 2 and maybe replace kind of the later chapters with the long form thing. I'm still kind of in the process of figuring it out, but like I know how I want the story to end, and I'd like to get that in people's hands like by the end of next year, like at the latest, hopefully sooner if everything gets lined up. But yeah.
Again, everyone, he is not reading any questions I have planned. My very next question was going to be, do you have anything else that you're working on that you could talk about? This is actually kind of scary. Professor X, is that you?
Oh my god. Yes. Okay, cool. I'm doing way too much, man. All right. So I run Revenge Audit. It's my publishing company. We are in the process of working on multiple projects. The one that I can give kind of a good ballpark for is Maho Grindhouse. I'm editing on this. It's written and illustrated by Ridge Lois. It is about some criminals that kidnap a magical girl to try to kill a Yakuza boss's magical girl bodyguard and steal their money.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Indeed. And what's really funny is I got approached for this while I was doing my own magical girl thing, which is early on. But like, okay, cool. So we're just gonna have 2 magical girl projects pretty soon. That's really funny. Yeah, so that's the main thing. We're shooting for a Q4 release on that. Pre-orders are available now. There's a bunch of samples. If you see me at a show, I might just have one like a 4-page freebie to give people. But there's also a PDF version of that available on the website, and as well as samples on the website. So yeah, revengeaudit.com. Look at it. After that, I'm still doing Supermassive Hover Biome. We don't have a set schedule yet, but if you use any of the webcomic sites, pick your favorite one, subscribe on there, you'll get notified. We are working on the continuation to the Kickstarter we did last year, last month's game. I'm not going to Kickstart it this time. I'm just going to crowdfund it. Not crowdfund. I'm just going to webcomic it, put it out, and it's going to just come out slower. Secondarily, I announced this a couple weeks back. Subpar soul worker Alice Munro. It's the 1930s. Magic is real. World War II got canceled. And Alice Munro kind of wants to be a magic person, but she can't. So she's gonna get an apprenticeship with one of the best soul workers in the world. That's magic because I have to come up with an extra name because I'm extra. And he's strange. He's not normal.
Could say he's a doctor.
You could. He should see a doctor. Oh God. Yeah. So, yeah, those are the main projects. Like, I'd like to have some. So, Maho Grindhouse is a Q4. Subpar Soul Worker is a 2026 ? And more last month's game is 2027.
Okay.
Those are Supermassive. That's throughout the year. Hopefully, we're almost halfway through it, man. That's crazy.
It is. The year is just kind of flying by. Like we were stuck in February for like a year, and it's just like the rest of the year has just been a blur.
Gary, when I tell you that is like the most real, I literally You know, like not Doctor Who, Doctor Strange, like the ancient one punches the guy out of his body for a second. That was me. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Jeez.
February lasted way too long.
February was the longest year of my life. for sure.
It was.
But yeah, I'm doing too much. I do plan on scaling down next year. If everything goes well, I guess you got an exclusive. I'm gonna try opening up submissions. I'm working with a lawyer to get some stuff figured out, because the last deal I was in, it wasn't predatory, but like it was really dumb, and it didn't have to be. So like I feel like I was literally talking to a creative today, and they were talking about a deal they had with not one of the big two, one of like the other other publishers,
medium like 5,
the medium 5, yeah. And the deals that they have in place are not nonsensical, right? Like a lot of them want independent, like they want exclusive printing rights for X amount of time, which makes sense. I get it, right?
That's fair.
You can only order from them at cost for however much. Okay, whatever.
Okay, fine. I'll live with it.
I can adjust to this. Right? It's the cost you pay for the printing and the distribution. I get that. Right. So I would want something where you're more free. The current draft it's non-exclusive. If you somehow get Image while we're talking, we would have permission to do what we're doing, but you could also do Image too. That's basically it. So I got to figure out distribution, because like I kind of just know a couple of shops right now, which is great because I have people I can send the books to. But like the whole reason you go to publishing is for more exposure than you can get by yourself. And I'd like to look into offering that for people, because a lot of people don't know that a lot of this stuff is just a call away. When it is, and it's also like not. There are steps to follow. It is it can be complicated, but not impossible. Like if you want to print a book, find a printer you like at a price you like, learn their print type, make pages for them, bada bing. If you want to do merch, find a thing you like. It's just it's less about I want to run this for you, and more like, hey, what do you need? Cool, there you go. You can start this baby's first publisher. Hopefully, we'll see.
That's awesome. I love that. I think that's really needed. There's a lot of comic creators who are unfamiliar with the whole process of making comics and going from there. So again, I was going to ask you that question.
That's how many times is that? That's like 5, 6. That's crazy.
Just about, yeah.
That's crazy. Sorry, go on.
I don't know. Like at this point, am I just becoming a predictable interviewer? Because like, what is this?
This is my show now.
It might be. It really might be.
But no, sorry. What was your question?
No, that was my question for sure. I guess last thing I would ask, since you've already answered all my questions at this point, thank you for coming on, by the way. This has been fun.
Of course.
Say you're approached by a producer to turn an already established IP into an animated TV series.
Sure.
What would that series, or what would the IP be that you would turn into an animated series? And then what genre would you want it to be
in? Okay. Did they or did they not announce a Gorillaz show? Because I would have wanted to work on a Gorillaz show.
I don't think I've seen anything about that yet.
See, I could have sworn I saw something saying that, but like then again, you can type anything anywhere and see whatever you want. So if that is not happening, I would like to do that, but like it would be less. I want to get my mitts on this. I want to get Valley back, because he did the OG 2000s Gorillaz music video. So just having him do a whole show and not just one-off episodes of Love, Death, and Robots would be awesome. If he's up for it, of course. I don't know if I'd want to just do a straight-up adaptation of, like, their audiobook, but, like, I'd want to do something that, like, is just about filling in the blanks as opposed to something brand new in relation to Gorillaz, because I think a lot of the lore that they've built is actually really strong, and I would kind of just want to visualize some of the elements that we didn't really get a lot of time to directly see. If not that, I would love to adapt Kill My Mother by Jules Pfeiffer, if you're familiar.
I'm not familiar, but I've heard of it.
Okay, and then let me go back a bit. If I'm doing the Gorillas thing, it's gonna be, if it's like Fountainhead, it's just getting the band together. Sorry, getting the band together. If I got to do Jules Pfeiffer, it's like a noir kind of thing, but like you are shifting perspectives so much, and you get a massive picture of like this. Like I forget if it's New York or San Francisco, but like it's the whole point is like everybody is living lives that are focused on such different things.
Mm-hmm.
Like this girl and like her like childhood friend are like just actively running around doing nothing. Her mom's trying to find out who killed her husband, right? And the detective that she works for is trying to figure that out too. Like, but is a drunk and is just a terrible person and can barely keep it together. Right.
That sounds interesting.
I'd love to see that get animated. It's in this really cool, like scribbled style. I don't know how well that could translate to like animation per se, but like something I'd want it to look raw like that does. Like every time somebody's like comic you to look like X, I'm just thinking about Kill My Mother and how evocative and form capturing it is. You know.
So is the art style, because I'm trying to pull that up now, is it similar to like what was that show called, Doug?
Not Doug. It's closer. I don't know if you saw any of the old New York Times comics from like the 30s that they kind of recirculate. Hang on,
I see. I just got it up.
Yeah,
now.
Yeah. Jules Pfeiffer. Like, and it's one of my. It is disarming in terms of how it looks. Yes.
Yeah.
It's again like it is so messy, like its narrative is.
I actually really love that.
But I love that. I'm a massive iconoclast. If you capture a form a certain way, I'm in. It doesn't need to be true to life at all. So like, I'd want whatever style we would animate to be kind of like that.
That would be awesome.
That'd be cool if I got to do that. Yeah, that'd be great. And like, I don't think I would touch a lot of the dialogue. It's phenomenal. You know,
I'll have to read it.
You really should.
I have to read it.
So it's a trilogy. There's Kill My Mother, the Ghost script. Sorry, Cousin Joseph and the Ghost script.
Okay.
Right? And it does the thing where they seem disconnected for a moment, and then something really like connects them all together in a beautiful way. If you don't like Kill My Mother, you're probably not gonna like Cousin Joseph or the Ghost script, but like it's really cool. And what's crazy is I knew exactly what the Ghost script was about.
Okay.
Because Cousin Joseph was like the main thing about Cousin Joseph was kind of like a movie script, and it was in not the main thing. It was in passing, right?
Oh.
And then I'm like, oh, this got the focus. Okay, great, that's awesome. So, yeah.
That has my attention. It's on my movie list now.
I recommend Kill My Mother to anybody who likes any kind of noir. That and Parker, the comics and the novels, they're so good. Noir, we're eating so hard. Spider Noir is coming out. We're eating good right now.
That is true. We really are.
Yeah.
Man, great time to be alive. Kind of.
Indeed. Phenomenal. Beautiful.
Don, thank you for coming on here. This has been fun. Just kind of talking to you, chatting it up, and learning more about your story, Supermassive Biome. Can you tell the people where they can find you, follow you, and get more of your work?
Absolutely. Hold on. So I can be found at Don Mancha III on Instagram. I got a website, www.donmanchaiii.com. That's for my personal stuff, my portfolio, all that garbage. I'll show that to people for work. My publisher, Revenge Audit, that's Revenge Audit, all one word.com, and at Revenge Audit on Instagram and Twitter. I don't really use Twitter that much, so if you want to see the stuff faster, go to Instagram. For work news, if you want to see what I have to say on a given Tuesday, Don Mancha III on Instagram. My website has links to all my other socials, which I use less, just because Instagram has pictures and words, which is my medium of choice. So, yeah.
Awesome. All the links are in the description below. So go give Don and Revenge Audit a follow. Like I said, I really enjoyed Supermassive Biome. I think you'll enjoy it too. So you should go give it a check and follow Don and Revenge Audit so that you can keep up with what he's doing.
You better do it.
Yeah, you need to.
Yes.
Or he's going to, incept you with his, mental powers that he apparently has.
Yes.
Well, again, Don, I appreciate you for coming on and chatting it up for a little bit. Everyone, go give Supermassive Biome a read. Follow Revenge Audit and Don on all socials. Again, I'm Gary, and this has been the Divergent Comics podcast. Y'all, go read some comics.